Hi guys, how is everyone today? I see there's quite a lot of you here. I hope everyone's fine. Cole is muted for some reason. Doesn't want to talk to us. Can't hear you, hun.
Sorry, it said that you muted me.
I didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't touching it and all of a sudden it muted.
I didn't get that far just yet. Might come later. No, I wouldn't do that to you. All right, well, we got some special guests. We know that there's somebody you guys are here for especially, but so we have some special guests. We're going to bring them on now. We're going to talk a little bit about certain teasers that came out this week, and we're also going to talk about a little bit about what this movement's all about. So some charity work and where does it go and what's done with it. So without further ado, let's welcome our guests. So we have Ashley and Doreen from American Foundation Suicide Prevention. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
And we have Zack.
Hello.
Not certain director.
And Luca is right there.
And Luca, yes. Luca's there. Almost forgot. So, how are you? Thank you so much for coming, first of all.
Yeah, very good. Ladies, how are you guys doing?
Okay. How come everyone's muted?
It seems that StreamYard is auto.
Oh, you come on with an auto mute, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Ladies, if you can check.
There, I think they're ready.
There we are. It should be fine now.
Yeah, right here.
All right.
Okay,
perfect.
we can.
Yeah, we can hear you all. That's perfect. So let's start off then. So what we wanted to talk about, or how we wanted to sort of kick this all off, obviously the movement that centered around releasing the Snyder Cut and afterwards Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was all about charity. There's been a lot of campaigns going on, a lot of donations for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and there is another event coming. Do you want to hint maybe what the event's going to be, Zack, and what we're going to celebrate there?
Sure, absolutely. There's a couple reasons I think for the it's kind of a nice, if you will, sort of coming together of different things. You know, we were. I had always wanted to screen my three movies, DC movies, in the theater together. And, it was always one of those things that we were never sure would ever happen because the IMAX version of Justice League, though, we have screened it a couple times in the black and white version. I just wasn't sure there was going to be another time when, we could get the color version into the theaters. But I really wanted everyone to see the movie in IMAX because it was really formatted for IMAX. It's really designed for an IMAX experience when you see it in IMAX. I think it's completely different from when you see it on TV. So there was that. And then in addition to that, there was the event that we did up at Art Center a couple of years ago to kick off the restoration of the theater up there at Art Center, because I had gone to school at Art Center quite a while ago, I won't say. And when I remember going up to that theater and going like, this theater is in the same condition it was when I went to school here. So we need to get that, see what we can do about that. And so we had that event, and at it, there was a lot of discussion about Justice League. There was a lot of speculation and just a lot of, and I think at that point, I'm pretty sure when we did that event, there was no chance that Justice League would happen. There was no conversation about, and there was no way to it. At that point, there was no window other than like some illegal means. There was no chance that Justice League was ever going to be released. So, but there was a lot of discussion about Justice League, and so it seemed to me to make sense that when we talked about this event, and now the theater, we've raised enough money, the theater is completely restored and in amazing shape. Weirdly, it has 214 seats, and that is 100% a fact. And so
It was a coincidence.
it's a weird coincidence. There's 214 seats at that theater. And so I was like, but the projectors are state of the art. The sound system is insane. It's like an amazing place to see a movie. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just screen the movie there. Luca, what's wrong? Come here. Luca.
Oh, Luke,
Hey.
I thought your dog was something else.
Come here.
He knows something.
He's camera shy.
Aww.
So I was like, that feels like the best place to do it. And at that time, we didn't really have this cause that we have now, and this sort of real momentum and real just the beautiful stuff that the fans have done, to bring awareness to mental health and suicide prevention. In a lot of ways, the whole Justice League movement revolves around the events, those events, Autumn's death, and the subsequent kind of like how we were all moved and how we all thought, it's one of those things that you feel sort of helpless in the face of, and sort of you find yourself, in this, sort of pits of despair and not sure, like there's nothing that you can do. And then finally you're like, wait, there is something you can do. And there is action to be taken. And I think that that's kind of what the whole thing became about for me anyway, this amazing way of the cathartic sort of nature of making the movie and sort of having this experience with the fans and finding out that so many of the fans of the movie were also, as it is in life, struggling with issues of mental health or, thoughts of suicide, things of that nature, and that through the movie and through the experience of getting the movie made, that people were able to find this sort of rallying cry and or this sort of common cause, and also a thing that they loved, that struggled, that had a relationship to mental health that they could connect with, and that they could feel a personal relationship toward. And I think that's kind of what the movie has kind of become in a lot of ways, and what the sort of movement around the movie has become. And so the fans have raised nearly $1 million, like right on the edge of $1 million. And I really wanted to say, like, what event could we do to kind of put us over the top? What could I do to thank the fans, like, for this, everything that they've done, and then also sort of bring those three movies in a single weekend. They've never really been collected in this way. The three movies have never been seen in their sort of the ways that I would want them to be seen. And so it's a really amazing situation.
So you've mentioned, Zach, that we are close to 1 million. Ashley, would you like to tell us a bit about where we are, maybe how the funds that we've raised over the years were being used for obviously towards what resources
I'm checking the notes we received from Mick about the total, but I don't know how to say it well. So if anyone wants the total, Nana's gonna have to say it.
Okay.
How much?
I believe it was $907,000 so far. is where we are.
Like we're knocking on the door of 908.
908. Okay. Which a little bit of a segment from that. In the link in the description of this video, and also some of our lovely mods are also posting it in the chat, there is a link to Autumn Snyder's tribute fund on AFSP website where you guys can donate. So if you can afford it, you can help us reach that 1 million even faster. So if you want, that's where you can go right now and donate. But yeah, in the meantime, so nearly 1 million. Where did the funds go? What were they used for?
Sure. So all of the donations received by AFSP go to support our mission, which is to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. And the way we do that is through 4 main kind of priorities. The first of which is our advocacy efforts. So we do we have field staff across the country. I think, and Doreen, you can correct me, I think we're at somewhere around 50,000, I think at this point, of field staff across the country who go to their legislators at the local and national level to promote some of our mental health priorities. One of the big things that we were able to help push for, which many people might be aware of, is the release of the 988 number, which is the crisis number that you can call if someone is having a mental health crisis. So that is that's one big example of what our legislative arm does. Also scientific research around suicide prevention. We are the largest private funder of suicide prevention research. And much of what we know about suicide has come from studies that were funded by AFSP. And so that's a big core of our work because everything we do is science-based. We also have education. So we have 20 plus education programs where we educate people on the signs that someone might be struggling and what they can do to help. And a lot of those programs are also directed towards specific groups because it's not one size fits all. So we have programs for veterans, we have programs for LGBTQ+, we have programs for youth. Again, we want to make sure that we are addressing the needs of different sections of the community. And then finally, we have loss support. So if anyone has unfortunately lost a loved one to suicide, we want to make sure we're there to help support them. So those are our main focus areas. In addition, we also are working to reduce the suicide rate by, again, using science to know where we can save the most lives the quickest. Some of you may be familiar with Project 2025, and that's what we're doing it through. So we're focusing on healthcare systems, emergency departments, corrections facilities, and firearm and safety to ensure that we can make sure that we can be there to prevent suicide before it can even happen.
Okay. As someone who is not from the US, so I know that we have similar resources here in the UK. My question is there sort of like an international cooperation between big charity organization like yours?
Is that there are a multitude of organizations that are like ours across the country. So there's one entity where you can see all different ones. I'll have to find it. I'm sorry, I don't have the top of my head. Doreen, I don't know if you have it at the top of your head.
Yeah, there's a few different ones. I know befrienders.org has an international listing of different suicide prevention hotlines and crisis lines around the world.
Okay, thank you. And so obviously a bit of a segment from that. So you've mentioned all of these things that you guys do to try and support and where the funds go. How can we, as ordinary people, so to speak, how can we help support our loved ones or our friends? Is there sort of a way that we can engage and be more proactive in what we do? How can we sort of raise awareness aside from just raising the funds? I don't know if that's more for Doreen or for Ashley, whichever one wants to pick this up.
I'm happy to take that one, Ashley. Well, we believe everyone has a role to play in suicide prevention. And while we might not all be trained mental health professionals, I'm a psychologist, and we don't expect everyone to have that level of understanding or training, but we do know that everyone has a role in listening, in learning the warning signs, in being aware, and not being afraid to ask directly about suicide. A lot of our public education work is really about encouraging people to just kind of take notice of people around them that may be struggling and to lean in, and to not be afraid to ask directly. Many of us know people who are struggling with their mental health, but we stop short of asking directly about suicide, and we're trying to change that. So a lot of the work we do, again, is around helping people notice warning signs, but also empowering people to see their role in suicide prevention.
Okay. And with that, then, sorry, I'm just trying to format the question now. But basically, how would I put this? I'm so sorry. I lost my words. My English is broken. What I wanted to say, if say I know somebody who's struggling and I want to help, but say the person's not necessarily always going to be listening to me, what's sort of the best way to not push them, but sort of point them towards the right resources? How would I approach as a person like a sensitive situation like this?
One of the things we know about people when they are having thoughts of suicide is that they're in pain and they're having a hard time seeing beyond the pain that they're in, which really requires those of us that notice that to take a more of an active role. So not being afraid, like I said, to ask directly, but also to share resources. Now, that doesn't mean the person will use those resources right away. In fact, they may just take them, but at least they have them for the time when they're feeling overwhelmed or when they feel a real intense urge towards suicide. And I think one of the things we've learned from research that's been something that we just want everyone to keep in mind, that when people feel the urge to act on their suicidal thoughts, for most people, that's inside of 30 minutes. So we're talking about a person may be having suicidal thoughts at different points in their life over months. We know millions of people live with thoughts of suicide they experience on a regular basis. But the urge to act on those thoughts comes on suddenly and intensely. And we know that for most people, that's an inside 30-minute time frame. So it really does make a difference when you say, here's some numbers you can call, or if you feel that way, you can reach out to me, or even just checking in with people we care about that we think might be struggling. Taking those extra steps matter because we want people when they feel that intense pain that suicide is associated with, to know they're not alone, but also to know that help is out there for them. It's really hard to see it when they're in that intense moment, though, and that's why we have to. Well, we always encourage people to do as much as we can to let them know that they can be connected to help, that it's out there for them.
Okay. And you've mentioned previous projects ongoing projects in an effort to reduce suicide rates and just help people. How did pandemic affect this? How did post-pandemic affect this? And which groups are most vulnerable at the moment?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think one of the things we realized is that while we all experienced the pandemic, we didn't all have the same experience during the pandemic. And we know that some groups found themselves having more challenges. Certainly, some groups were more affected by the health outcomes of the pandemic. But one of the more recent data points that we got was there's something called the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. It's a survey of high school students. It's done every 2 years. And the data we got from 2021 really told us something important. It told us that particularly young people were struggling with thoughts of suicide. And this is something that we see on a regular basis with that survey. But more young girls were struggling with thoughts of suicide, with feelings of despair, with this survey than previous surveys. And so that does tell us something, that we need to not only double down our efforts, but to make sure that those who are struggling know that the help is out there and get connected to the help they need.
Okay. I'm just going to sort of jump around. So back to you, Zach. You've mentioned obviously that this event's going to be raising funds. We want to go over 1 million. Can you tell us a bit more about what sort of fundraisers are going to be happening? Do you maybe have another shirt or?
Yeah, we're going to have. Okay. So we're going to have just after the event itself, of course, the screening event. It's 3 nights, 2 at Art Center, 1 at IMAX, and then the other stuff. We're going to have T-shirts. That Jim Lee is drawing us a T-shirt, which is an amazing design. Can't wait to show it. We're going to have posters that some of the vendors that made us our posters for the actual movie, for the Justice League film itself, have been working on posters, putting together a poster for the event. We're having an additional Art Center poster that we're making. That's going to be more. This one, the one that we're doing for the poster that the vendors are doing is sort of a trilogy poster, like a real movie poster that has really it's made specifically for the event, but it's also its own thing. It's not. It's going to be, if you put it on the wall, it's going to just be a trilogy poster, and it's kind of live on its own. And then we're going to do an additional poster that talks about the event itself, the sort of 3 movies and how we're screening them. So that is an additional thing. So we're going to have those. We're also thinking of doing, I know there's some fan-driven events around the event, whether it be like giveaways for some figures and some different. We're trying to get a Batmobile. I know there's a bunch of stuff we're trying to get to also give away in relationship to the screening. So that's some of the stuff we've been talking about right now, and I think there's more coming.
Okay, so a lot of stuff to be excited for. Now, when we sort of, go from this, we've got lots of stuff coming up, and then lots of stuff that also we've already done. So might be question most for Ashley. Over the years, obviously, we've worked with you guys. I think I remember Co and I working with you back in 2018, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. So how would you sum up all those years that we've been working with you as a movement? And, not just us, but like all the people that have been working with you. What sort of experience has it been for you guys?
It's been incredible. And I can't let this opportunity pass without thanking everyone who is on this stream and who's not on this stream for all you've done to raise awareness and raise funds for AFSP. But again, going back, awareness of mental health and suicide prevention. I started working with you guys my 2nd year at AFSP. So literally my career at AFSP is made up of my time with all of you. And I couldn't have been more grateful for it, because I just remember, and I forgot what year it was. I think it was 2019. I think, Zach, you did for May Mental Health Month, where you were posting all the time facts about suicide prevention and mental health. And we were just watching all the comments come in. And they were incredible comments, people sharing their story or people just talking about their support. And then there would be instances where someone would share that they were struggling. AFSP didn't have to do anything. This community got on, shared resources, shared support, told them that they're there if they want to call them. And that is what we're trying to do. That is literally what we're trying to do, is make people have open conversation and then also find support amongst their community. So just that aspect of it has been amazing. And Zach has alluded to all the different fundraising things that have happened, from movie screenings across the country. We have 74 chapters for AFSP. I have heard from chapters across the country talking about Michigan's having a film screening, or in, wherever else, just all over the country, people who are doing stuff to raise funds, raise awareness, and celebrate these films. And the community has just been something that I will say in my nonprofit career I've never experienced.
Well, I think that's the amazing thing about, you know, I think that the fan community is, they're pretty, they share sort of instantly. They have a relationship, you know, even if you don't know the person, if you have sort of this interest in common, it's so intense. Suddenly, like, you kind of have a small jump in the relationship that you would have normally with the person you don't know. So, like, you know, there is a, you know, this ability to say, like, hey, like, I'm happy to support, like, we share this other thing. I'm also interested in trying to, you know, if you're struggling, I'm there for you there as well. And I think, look, the truth is that a lot of people, you know, suffer in silence, and they don't have a community to talk to. And I think that and I would say that probably within the fan communities, because this leaf got turned over, where, like, maybe these people would not have been comfortable previously. They would have been in this community sharing a lot of this stuff, but uncomfortable with sort of any kind of what would be very personal sort of mental health crisis they might be in. But I think that being able to see that people just like them are struggling with the exact same things, that they could feel like, wow, not only is this community for this cool thing, this movie that I like, but also, like, it's put me in touch with these people that, like, are there for me or are interested in, like, a real issue that I might be struggling with. And I think that combination has been really interesting to see this community sort of built for one purpose, really being able to kind of pretty easily sort of step across to this other thing that's sort of, and I think in a lot of ways it as a way of uniting a struggle. You know, there was a struggle to get this movie made, but it also, as a metaphor for a struggle that people are facing, it was a really nice, I think, sort of, the relationship was easy. It was an easy step over, and without feeling exposed or like I was alone and I'm saying something that no one feels, and so I'm gonna seem stupid or whatever. But in the case of this, is like, no, this is the why of the whole thing. So absolutely, please, like, let's find out what we're all going through emotionally, and also or support those people, you know, if that's your call.
Did you ever see the fundraising aspect getting to be so? Did you ever see accomplished?
No. Did I think it would? I didn't know. I honestly didn't. I thought, oh, we should, you know what? I should probably say, this is the thing that I'm interested in, so we should probably say, I should probably post, you know, these facts about mental health awareness and suicide prevention. That's the thing that I just felt we were doing at the time. We were doing, like, you know, the Out of the Darkness walks and stuff like that, but I didn't know that it would connect so profoundly, you know, and it's been an amazing, connection for me anyway. It's been really, like I said before, it's incredibly cathartic to make an entire movie, and have an entire experience, you know. It's funny because, like, you know, Autumn was really creative and super, you know, but a loner in a lot of ways. She didn't really, you know, she had a very small crew. And I think that if she could have any idea that she inspired such insanity, you know, as far as this amazing thing, I don't, you know, it always makes me, like, really proud that, you know, we were able to honor her in that way.
You actually sort of answered a question that I was going to have afterwards for you, Zach, which was basically, nice, my camera turned off. That was not planned. But what I was going to say, basically, I had this question where I wanted to ask you sort of what the journey was like for you across the movies, and you know, with everything that's happened, from Man of Steel all the way to where we are right now, and what the journey's been like for you and for Deb as well, because obviously you guys have been through a lot. And I think us as fandom, we just tried to support you as much as we could. But yeah, it's just, what was it like for you? What was your...
Well, I mean, I think the main, sorry,
No, go on.
I think the main thing that the real sort of thing I didn't see coming and didn't expect, and sort of have been really floored by, is the way that the movies have touched people in a way that I didn't think. Like, at first it was a piece of, it starts as a piece of entertainment. Like, look, we're going to make a movie about Superman. Doesn't sound like, at face value, that it's going to be, touching people's lives or sort of making them feel a certain way about sort of their place in the universe. And I think, and then when we made BVS and then Justice League, it's really just grown as sort of a, for me anyway, as a way of, and I've said it before, and I've said it in the thing, I'm really, we're on a path, all of us, and we're on some sort of journey through life, and we're learning, and, it seems like sometimes we're not, and it seems like, sometimes you're on a treadmill, whatever it is. But I think that the thing that, again, that surprised me was that the journey itself, with the fans, with the making of the film and everything, has led us to a place that I didn't expect. And that is that through this, really difficult time, you could say that a lot of good has come, a lot of, like, this $1 million, this awareness, the community itself, because on top of the money, as you say, it's people not being afraid to say something. It's people helping others. It's people reaching out to their community, saying, like, gosh, I don't know, I feel I'm having trouble. And that as it's associated with this entire thing, has been the thing that I could not have seen, or frankly, that you can also quantify and sort of, into a single thing. It's alive and living and moving, and the community is alive and living and moving, and they grow with, and they've grown with this journey to bring awareness. And I think that I just couldn't be prouder to be associated with this group of people. AFSP, the fan community, they've just done amazing stuff that I was like, what every step has been like a surprise to me. So that's cool.
And obviously now the event that's coming up, we've been using a hashtag called Full Circle. It kind of feels like this whole conversation is sort of going to it, but do you want to tell us a bit more about why did you choose to go with Full Circle idea?
Well, we were trying to say, like, oh, what should we call this? And I was like, oh, well, when we were just talking about, we started Art Center, we're going back to Art Center. The whole thing with the movie being nowhere then, and the movie now exists. It just felt like a really, like, great title. And then also just in awareness, for me, zero awareness to, like, complete awareness is a real goal, I think, for all of us, and for the message of the event. And so it seemed like it continues to weirdly, the AFSP logo is round, Art Center's logo is round. There's a lot of, this happens. So it's good.
Definitely. Ashley, Doreen, question for you again. So you've mentioned obviously all the ways that our community has helped in the past and keeps helping to this day. Is there anything else that we could do and we may not be doing just yet?
I don't know what you aren't doing. You guys are incredibly active and engaged, which we love. And I can't stress this enough. What I do, what Doreen does, what AFSP does is not possible without what all of you are doing. So, we're so grateful for that. Not only, again, for the support, but really taking what AFSP shares about what we know about mental health and suicide prevention and furthering it within your network and your community. So I know from my perspective, this group does that phenomenally. And so I think for me, I would just do an encouraging, keep doing what you're doing, keep reaching out, keep sharing, and keep being open about mental health. And if you are struggling, please reach out. Doreen?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, this is such an amazing community. And maybe I would add that, one of the things we take very seriously at AFSP is bringing hope. We think hope is what keeps people going. It's what helps them through dark times. And I can't think of a community more hopeful than this community. You're an inspiring group. You inspire me and others at AFSP in our work. Just to see all that you've done so far and continue to do for our cause. It's awe-inspiring, but certainly very hopeful for us.
I think that I can speak for the community that obviously for us it's been a privilege to be able to work with you guys and to raise awareness as much as we could. For me and Cole, we got to meet some amazing people, Zach amongst them, and we and it's just it's been absolute pleasure to be in the position where we could be part of this, and I think that I can speak for everyone in the fandom who had taken part in this that we are absolutely grateful for the opportunity and for the option to create something like this, because I think that for a lot of people in this fandom, in the movement, back when Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, it stopped being just a movie. It meant so much more because of everything that happened, because of everything that we've done. And I don't think that obviously I want to thank you ladies for all the work that you do. I know that we may be raising funds and we may be trying to do community work and stuff like that, but it means so much that there is organization like that. It means so much to me, especially because I've been in certain places where I had, bad thoughts, even if they've never gotten as bad as they do for some people. But just knowing that there are resources and there are places that you can reach out, it really helps. And I am just so grateful that you're doing this work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, it's really, you guys are really amazing. So, thank you.
But I just sort of, I don't want to hold you ladies for too long, because obviously this conversation is going to delay into fandom stuff. But is there sort of any last words that you'd like to say on this stream? Sort of any sort of last message that you'd like to pass on before?
Thank you. Thank you. Almost $1 million. And after this event, it'll be over $1 million. That is unbelievable. And it'll do so much good to further the work that we're doing. We will be sure to make sure you know exactly what all of this has done for AFSP. Our latest annual report has come out, and I'll be sure to share that on Vero as well to make sure everyone can see it. But what you are doing matters. It matters to us, and it matters to communities across the country. So thank you.
Yeah, I would just add that, some of the unfortunate news we got with the latest suicide data, the mortality data, is that while the rate started to go down, it's gone back up. And so we've really seen that as kind of a rally cry and a call to action for all of us, that to double down the efforts, to keep working at it. You know, I've been in suicide prevention over 20 years. I'm not going anywhere. We need this work to be done. But it's groups like yours that really make it possible. And so I just echo what Ashley said. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
guys.
much for joining us today to shine some light on the good things we're helping you guys, giving to help you guys, and a lot. And it's very therapeutic, I can say, from a personal standpoint, to be able to do charity work with you guys. It actually helps quite a lot. So thank you for that.
Good.
Okay, amazing. So that would be for the AFSP segment of this panel. Again, I want to remind everybody, if you can afford this, please consider donating. Ashley, you've mentioned the annual report. Where can sort of people find you? You know, where can they go find resources? Just, you know.
Well, you can always go to afsp.org, obviously, to see the plethora of programs, as well as where you can go to get help. You can also go to afsp.org to find a chapter near you. As I mentioned, we have 74 chapters across the country, at least one in every state, including Puerto Rico. So you can find that chapter near you. And then the annual report, you can also find through afsp.org. But as I mentioned, I will also make sure that it is posted in Vero so that everyone can see it as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we bid you ladies good night. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was a
It
pleasure.
really means a lot. And I do hope that we'll see you in the future. I mean, we do have some stuff that we're planning, so we hope that you'll be there, because you're kind of like a guest on everything that we do. So we hope that we'll see you in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming again.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
So good. That's
So
a lot of good info.
that was a lot of good info. It was a bit of a heavy talk as well. So I was thinking maybe we could lighten it up. The chat is absolutely wild. They want information about the event. So what can you tell us?
I think what we're going to do is we're organizing the actual how the event. Well, frankly, how you're going to buy tickets, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to know that. Yeah.
What's that?
Everybody wants to know how they're going to buy tickets.
I think the tickets. We're still putting it together. It's not as easy. I thought, like, you know, I'm hilarious because, like, clearly I don't do this sort of thing for a living. Because I was like, oh, we just do that, sell the tickets, it's all good. So no, it's complicated. We've been doing that work right now to kind of put it all together. So it's going to be, I think Friday. We're trying to go on Friday. I think the tickets go on sale. I think I might be mistaken, but that's what I think we're shooting for. But we know it's going to be
coming Friday.
This coming Friday. We know it's going to be in Southern California, Pasadena, California, which is Art Center is literally right. I can almost see it from here, out my window. And Universal City IMAX is where we're gonna show the movie, which is the biggest and best IMAX theater. It's where I showed Chris the movie, and it's really an amazing venue. I think it's the best Southern California IMAX venue. So Universal City Walk, Art Center, College of Design, Pasadena, Burbank. So you know our zone is not that big either. It's pretty close. So those are the venues. And then Friday, we're hoping the tickets will go on sale. I'm going to be releasing the designs of the posters and T-shirts very shortly. We're working on that stuff. And then as it goes, we'll have always on the release with links to where you can buy these shirts and posters. And then what we're hoping is that, so Friday, the event, I think we have some kind of like cocktail hour or some kind of.
So the first night of the event, which would be Man of Steel, you're thinking of a cocktail hour.
Yeah, something. And then we're going to have a Q&A after. I'm working on the panel for Man of Steel right now. So we'll see. who and I'll once I sort of
Fingers
get,
crossed.
I might hint at some of those individuals. With any luck, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Then BVS, we're going to do the movie. Then we're going to do a signing, and I'll sign some posters, and hopefully we can talk about the movie a little bit, and kind of have a little bit of and a panel as well. So there's going to be movie panel signing kind of talk out in the lobby like we did the other time, and then BVS will be ZSJL will be Universal City Walk panel starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's earlier. The other ones are kind of more of a, after 5-ish or afternoonish. But that one's at 1 because I think they want to put some other movie, they do that, into that theater for the night.
Why would they bother with other movies?
I don't know. I think they should show it twice. That would be cooler. But anyway, that's not up to me.
So do you think that, do you know yet if the way the tickets will be sold, will they be sold as one event or one for each movie?
I don't know. What I wanted to do was a 3-day package or 1 ticket for each movie. But the 3-day package is proving a little more logistically difficult than I understood. So by Friday, we will have sorted it out. So will it either be you buy 1 ticket for each, and so if you want to go all 3 events, you buy 3 tickets. But I'm hoping that you can buy 1 ticket for all 3 if you're going to do that. But that's a limited number. 214 would be the limited number because that's
There is a question.
What about the price of the tickets? I see right there. Well, it's I don't think it's crazy, but I think that we'll announce that also on Friday. So it's not.
Okay.
I don't think it's.
You guys. Last spoke. You had you and Wes had been mentioning that you were working with possibly Eventbrite for the ticket distribution.
Well, no. I mean, we'll see. I have to. There's a.
Okay, you're still figuring out because I see some people who are a little bit nervous that it might be Ticketmaster. They're a little afraid for the Taylor Swift situation to happen again.
No. Look. Yeah. No one has to worry about the Taylor Swift scenario.
Listen, there, of all the things we haven't done yet, crashing Ticketmaster, we didn't manage to do just yet. So,
we should go Ticketmaster.
we should just go crash Ticketmaster for
to show the Swifties that it's not.
Not just them.
It's not just them. So the Art Center has 214 capacity. What's the capacity of the IMAX screen?
I think it's 370 or 80. I'm not 100%.
It's something. It's in that neighborhood.
Now, as people who will not be able to make it, unfortunately,
come on.
What can we do? I mean, we'll see you later. That's okay.
Because you can't leave work, get on a plane, all the things.
Well, I don't have money for it.
That's fair.
The flights do cost a lot, Zach, from UK.
I hear you.
There's this whole fuel crisis, and it sucks. But obviously, for those of us who can't make it, we were talking to people who were saying we're going to do an online aspect for this. So I think what people really want to know, you talked about signings. Will there be an opportunity for them to maybe buy a signed poster online or something like that?
I think absolutely. My hope is for signed posters online. My hope is we're going to do some sort of live streaming event alongside of the screening, so that if you're watching the movie at the same time or you want to see the panels, all of that's going to be available. We're trying to make all that available, so you can watch the panels live. You can. We're going to try and set up I've seen the movies. Sometimes.
Really?
So
I didn't know if you did.
I have. I have. I know it's crazy. So we were going to try and set up maybe while the movie's playing, some sort of green room scenario where I can go and do a little live chat while the movie's playing alongside of the movie playing in that room over there. So that could be fun to do a little something. And then we could talk about, whatever other giveaways we have and whatever raffles or things alongside.
So basically, to reassure people, we're working on the online aspect on it.
Yes.
Cole and I will
Don't
do
panic.
some stuff as well. We will try and sort of bring this as close as we can to everybody, because we don't want anybody to miss out.
No.
Very cool question here. Whether there's going to be a website, I assume everything's going to be on your Vero, Zach.
Probably my Vero, my Twitter, for sure. And you guys can volumize that as need be.
I mean, I don't think we need to volumize
And are
anything.
you-
Everybody's paying attention to you. But
Will
Something
the online aspect be done with Vero this time, or
Yes, I believe that's
Are
what
the-
we're working on for the live streams of the event,
the panels and whatnot?
of the panels. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, the only
That's-
tiny itchy spot is trying to live the stream the movies. It gets a little itchy that.
Yeah, true. I mean, my hope would be that we probably can't do that, but what we can do is, if we're live streaming, if they want to queue up the movies at home or whatever, however group watches, I can kind of I can give you okay, right now we're at
Like a bookmark or what have you.
yeah, exactly. Put a
We're also working on some things, so hopefully we'll have some more details a few weeks down the line. Because
yes. Yeah, we're working on a bunch of things. I really want to have as much as I can, have people online be able to experience it in some of the same ways. IMAX is harder because it's IMAX, but
IMAX is unique because it's going to be, you said, it's going to be one and only time people can see Justice League in color.
in color in IMAX is insanity.
What?
So if you can be
there's
there,
people are asking if this is to replace your Kevin Smith screening that he's been talking about.
Don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been talking to Kevin about it, so we'll see.
all right.
Okay, and will there be a heads up on what? I'm sorry, I'm just grabbing
Nope.
comments that we haven't asked yet. Will there be any heads up prior to the ticket sales? Like, will a time hey, tomorrow at X a.m.?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll be like, okay, get ready. You're coming.
That's what we
That
need.
kind of thing. Tickets go
So-
on sale at midnight or whatever.
Don't do that to
Well,
them.
whatever it's going to be, it's probably going to be a battle.
3 a.m. for you, probably.
Here is just a small hello from our friends.
The
Are we
Faruqi
gonna
Bros
see
and
them?
Fatma.
Are we going to see him?
I
Are they
don't
coming
know.
in?
I don't know.
I feel like
That's for Shiraz and Fatma. Are you guys
Yeah.
coming?
Yeah.
So somebody just to repeat, there is going to be more than 214 seats for the IMAX.
Yes, there are. 214 is only the amount of seats at Art Center, and it's only 214 because there's only 214 seats in the theater. But the other theater, Universal City IMAX, is Universal City. However many seats there are at IMAX is the number. It's not
Okay.
a weird coincidence number. Probably is, but we have to do a slightly deeper dive.
Here's a question for the future. Will there be another event for Future for Rebel Moon?
There will be.
The reason I put it up there.
Yes, we will do something. Insane for a few. I feel like knowing Netflix will do their very their level of enthusiasm is pretty high, and they're so yes, I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of insanity, and internationally, I think we're going to be traveling all over the world to promote this.
UK?
To promote Rebel Moon. It looks like it. There's a very good possibility.
You serious?
Don't quote me 100%. It's a little early.
You gotta warn me ahead, okay? You gotta warn me ahead. I'm there.
Okay, I will warn you ahead, but it's very possible. Let's put it that way.
That would
More
be
likely
awesome.
than not, Let's say that.
That would be awesome.
And of
Yeah.
course, we have something planned to help promote Rebel Moon.
Yeah. Oh yes. We'll need to do all sorts of shenanigans around Rebel Moon. I think that we've been editing away on the movie, and it's coming along awesome. We're just it's quite a lot of material to go through. Sorry, I've been working hard. I'm a little tired, but
Working hard on Rebel Moon. We
it's
understand.
happy work. It's happy work. I'm loving it. So yeah, very excited. Very excited about that. Oh, look at this.
So,
You see this on my desk. Look, this was my
your
crew
crew
badge.
pass.
001.
Nice.
So, just a quick question for clarification, because some people are
Yep.
asking. So you said
Ready.
that there would be signings on BVS Day. Will you do signings on other days, because some people might not be able to get for that day, etc.? Or will it be limited?
We have it designed. I mean, we could talk about it, absolutely, but like it's just we know BVS. We've set that time aside, like specifically aside, like we did at the last one, where I think we did it at the on BVS when we
Right.
think BVS we signed. So that's kind of the way we're looking at it right now. But the only problem at Universal City Walk is they want to get us out of there. So we'd
Right.
have to just figure out.
Right. That's still an active that's not closing down the theater. That's just taking one of the cinema rooms,
We're
right?
just taking one of their time slots, and we're going in front of it. That's why our screen's at 1. So we have
Gotcha.
we're going because the movie's kind of a longer film. I don't know if you're familiar with its runtime, but
A little bit,
yeah, a little bit.
It's not like we haven't watched it 15 times or more.
Yeah, so it is on the longer side, and so that's why we had the early start.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
That
that's-
makes sense.
Yeah, and so
which is also cool because I don't think the movie's never been really sort of experienced. I think in the way that I designed it with even when we screened the movie, the last 2 IMAX black and white screenings have been we're doing COVID. It was only I think the theaters were all a quarter filled, because of COVID. But now it's
no
full
COVID
house.
restrictions on this event at all?
0.
Okay. And do people have to have proof of vaccination to attend? Most closed door events ask for that, so that's why I'm asking.
I will look and see. Let me check into that.
Okay.
I will put that in my thing.
Okay. And there was something else I saw someone ask. Oh, at the Pasadena part of the event, that's more of the private venue situation, so there'll be more time to ask you questions, what have you.
Probably, yeah. I would probably.
Okay.
Imagine. I mean, we are going to do a panel after. They've given us an hour after the movie, an hour of for our panel, our Justice League panel, for some special guests to come out and talk to us.
Okay.
So there'll be
Sounds very exciting.
And for everyone who keeps asking, yes, you'll be able to buy things internationally and through Moment Ink to the Bowl,
correct.
which is
People's
shipped
gonna take care of it
international.
again.
Yes, international shipping, and I think they are going to handle our posters and our t-shirts. I'm not 100%.
People are asking about specials. I believe you said that you're working on it.
On
You're
what?
seeing who calls you. People are asking about special
Who's coming?
guests, and I believe you
Well,
said that you're working.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm making the calls. I'm sending the texts. Those sort of
So
things.
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's fun. Yeah, I think it's just going to be really a real fun event because I think that there's a little bit of distance from the movie right now, and it's going to be fun to watch it. For me, Justice League.
Now, some people are wondering, obviously, with this event and stuff, they're wondering a bit about what the future for the Snyderverse is. I've had some questions. We sort of asked people online. They had sort of a thread where they could, post their questions on Twitter. So we've picked some. And there have been some interesting questions. So some that I've picked out. This is from Max. He's asking if you have any plans on still releasing a book with your storyboards and your visualizing process, and if you'd like to do it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% have been talking about a book. We had a brief conversation, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but we did have a call with a huge fancy book publisher. I won't say who they were exactly, and their plan was to do like a big giant coffee table book with like just every single, like all my drawings and like how I make the scene and just like a crazy collage of, whatever it is, the whole kit and caboodle, as far as like, Polaroids, still photography, movies, drawings, the whole nine, some big giant retrospective book, which I think would be fun to make.
Oh, definitely. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I think that it would be really nice, like a memento of everything too, for everybody.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it probably take a couple of years to put it together,
But that's still something you're hoping to do one day.
I am. But I'm actively trying to do it. It's not like. I mean, our plan is like for Rebel Moon, we're doing like massive make. I've done, like I said, when we were on the call the other day, I've done more drawings for Rebel Moon than any movie I've ever done. There's like just thousands of drawings I did. So in that way, it's a really comprehensive amount of artwork and sort of planning and everything we did to kind of make the movie happen. So that making up book is going to be really intense with the art and everything. But then also alongside of it, I did a massive photography project, where I was shooting stills the entire time in a studio that I built, kind of like went along. We moved it around with us to all the different locations, and I would shoot the actors in there. Like I'd be like, okay, that scene's done. Go to the photo box, and I'd go and shoot them in there. So there's a lot of awesome,
There was actually a question that I don't have screenshotted, but I know it was there because I read it when you're talking about this like photo book and stuff. Somebody asked if there would be, or if there is a possibility of there to be like a photo book for Zack Snyder's Justice League, or like for all three movies. I know that Kleanos did Watchmen in the past. If there is something like that on the table.
I don't know. No one's talked about it. So we haven't really pushed it. We have the material, so I don't know.
Okay.
And yeah,
on a sort of third one for the books, is there still the graphic novel in play? Would that ever be an option? And if so, who would you like to pencil it?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say exactly who I'd want to pencil it because it's a touchy, could be touchy. But yeah, I would really enjoy that. I think if that was a possibility. No one, I haven't talked. I mean, there was a time when we were going to do that, and then there was, a sort of change of desire, yes. But,
yeah, and you've got so much coming up. Your plate is
well, we are
full.
doing, we're doing a graphic novel for Rebel Moon. I'm doing I think we're going to do an animated short. I think we're going to do, we're going to do like, a bunch of other things that are just insane. So, I mean, it's all in the works. But yeah, so I'm not busy. But yeah, but I these characters are dear to me. These DC characters are dear to me. So who knows?
Well, speaking of Rebel Moon, it's not your only project that you have with Netflix, and we've had a whole lot of questions about this stuff. So, just to show you, there's a question: anything you could tease about Rebel Moon? There is a question if the Rebel Moon's going to have theatrical release. Any news on the Lost Vegas and Twilight of the Gods? There is a question also, obviously generally about Armyverse, if things are happening, Twilight of the Gods again. As you can see, a lot of people want to know a lot of stuff.
Well,
So
I can tell you that I will say that there's been a slight stall on my the Las Vegas animated thing for technical reasons. It went off the rails a little bit. Twilight of the Gods, on the other hand, has been forging ahead incredibly well, and it's looking great. I'm really excited about it. I work on it every day, and it's cool. And so that very excited, that's coming. And so and as far as the Army universe goes, though, it's still alive and well, and in my mind, I know exactly what I would do. Really depends on how we try and figure out as we go forward with Rebel Moon and the Rebel Moon universe. It's not a small time commitment to Rebel Moon stuff, because a sci-fi thing like this at this scale does require a lot of attention, to make it all make sense. And it's a very interconnected world, and we've been doing our best to make it all make sense. And there's like magic and madness and all the things that are in the universe, and how they all coalesce is not a it's not a casual pursuit. It is a very full-time painting in the corners of the universe is not not difficult. It's not difficult. So,
well, world building is probably a very difficult job. You're making something completely from scratch. I mean, with Army, you were working in the real world, so you didn't have to come up with things on your own. But now this is your own. Like, I think up until now, you've been working in the real world, except for, or like in some way, other people's world. But this time, this is all stuff coming from your imagination. So
there's nothing to film. There's nothing you can go out and shoot. So in that way, it's quite an undertaking. And also, to think about it, as a franchise going forward, where does it end? What is Cora doing? Like, what's her like long look? It's all a huge, it's a big job, but it's fun. Like, we're having a great time doing it, and it's really, and me, I love like all the exploration of the figures and like all the dorky shit that I love. So, and that's all. A lot of that's cool,
So you're saying a lot of cool stuff is coming in.
I mean, the one thing that I'm really having a really good time with is, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but this RPG that we're doing that is just literally insane and so immersive and so intense and so huge. And like, we talked about how we would do the game, and I was like, we just said, let's go. I was like, not.
Is it going to be?
I
So
don't
what kind of game?
I don't want to do a casual. I'm not going to say. I'm only going to say this.
Not more. It's mobile.
Say this. There's good. There's more coming. But all I'll say is that, like, we thought we were going to do. It was pitched to me because I've always wanted to do an RPG, and I was like, okay, but like, they were like, well, we could do it at this scale, right? Kind of this scale. I don't know if that's a scale, or we can do it at like ridiculous scale. I was like, well, ridiculous scale is clearly scale that we can be doing it.
That's the scale to go for.
And they were like, well, it's going to take so much time because we got to do all these brain dumps. You've got to like tell us everything in the universe, what's happening, the giant. And I was like, that's fine. I'm happy to do it. Let's go all the way.
And it'll for Rebel of your brain children.
Yeah, it's Rebel Moon, like completely like realized universe, and it's really gonna be fun. Anyway, so I'm not supposed to talk about it. I'm sure I'm gonna
Okay, we're gonna
Well,
start. We're gonna
speaking
start
of
'cause
games, we got
talk about it.
fellow friend and fellow gamer join us, Dave.
Oh yay.
And we can't hear him. But you're not muted, so that's your mic. For once, that's not my fault.
You have to go. You have to take your headphones.
He's gonna have to leave and do a sound check and come back.
There he is.
There he is.
How you guys doing?
Oh, there you go. Good.
Doing
Very
good. How are
good.
you, Davery?
Good. I'm chilling.
Yeah,
Good stream so far. A lot of good stuff. It's been fun to watch.
it has. It's been fun. It's important stuff on one hand, but also fun on the other. So it's cool.
Well, so moving on, some other questions we've got. One that I'm curious how you answer. What's your favorite Frank Miller story?
Come on. You guys know my favorite friend. Look at it. It's all beat up.
Is it the one with that Batman guy?
It's this one. Look at it. It's all thrashed. It's all
of a
pages
well-loved
falling
book.
out. Look at this. Look at the spine.
That's a well-worn book. We like
I
that.
ripped it, for God's sake. Anyway, yeah, it's well worn. That's it. Because you remember I showed you. I also like, we talked about it before. Electra Lives Again, I still also think would be a cool movie. But, I don't know.
That's a badass story. I like that one.
That's good. And it's beautiful. Because I think Linny inked that book. So it's just all that stuff is good.
Something
yeah.
I wanted to ask you. Yeah, I wanted to ask you. Yeah, no. Between pre-production, producing, like actually filming and post, what's your favorite part? What do you think?
I like filming probably the most. It's the most difficult and the most exhausting for me, especially on the last movie because I was DP and it's different. Army was cool, but like the philosophical parts of Army, as far as the DP, like as far as the look went, was very much like I was trying to do it like with no lights, and it's really kind of like pushing everything to the maximum of like light in the movie with a flashlight as much as I could. But this movie has been super the opposite because Rebel Moon, because it's giant green screens and giant spaceships and stuff like that, which is all massive lighting, like everything's, and there's nothing, you got to light every single set and every single thing, and not only that, you have to build the sets because I like practical. So I had to build everything in advance. And so you have to, be with the designers and make sure, okay, I need lights here and here and here and here and this and that and grates and over there and blah blah blah. Everything's got to be on and Dan, who's my gaffer, everything's on a dimmer, so I'm you can change everything all the time. So it was super intense, and so that process on a movie like this, shooting, especially with our schedule, whatever we were like over 100 plus days of shooting is just exhausting, but post is better because you can train every day and it's good.
Yeah,
Some folks have been asking for the Rebel Moon marketing to start. Like, when can we start seeing promos?
Soon, I'll say. But also, what's happening right now is we have a bunch of cool stuff that we put together, that I can't wait to show you guys. But the problem is like now it's cooking in the visual effects oven, and when it's done, I'll pull it out and show it to you. But right now, it's nonsense. It's a lot of green screens and even our promos that we've been working on have some of my doodles in instead of like an actual photographed frame. So I don't know that it's viewable yet, but soon, very soon. It's in the grinder. It's being churned out. It's getting ready to be. Yeah, we've had a great. I have an amazing friend of mine who cuts trailers, Jen Horvath, who cut pretty much. She cut the Watchmen trailer. She cut, Sucker Punch, and we've been working together forever. And so she just did something. Well, she's awesome. So it's nice to say we're working on some stuff to show.
So basically soon. We just got to be patient, but it'll be soon.
Patient, it's almost April.
Yeah. Somebody says you can always leave a hard drive in a bathroom with the Rebel Moon trailer on.
I love doing that. But what's better is better than leaving the thumb drive in a bathroom in Hong Kong, I think it was going to be, is finishing it correctly, which cool. It's serendipitous. I actually just make it the way I want, which is cool.
I think the thumb drive is just going to be like an inside joke that's going to just carry on for years and years.
I love it. It's very close to happening. This interview would be happening in jail. It'll be a jailhouse interview.
That'll be a first. That'll be a first.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some people asking if you think that Rebel Moon will be available on Blu-ray and DVD, because they've been wondering about Army of the Dead coming out, and they're wondering if it's Netflix that's slowing that down or something.
I don't know.
Is that not a plan?
Do they do that? Does Netflix do they release their movies on DVD?
Can we submit a suggestion? Like, we like our steel books,
I didn't even know that that's even.
I think they have before.
Have they?
I think they've done it for
I'm
one
not
movie.
sure.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Like
I
Roma?
thought.
I feel like it depends on the interest. I think that if we just showed that we want a steel book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we like having those special editions of Zack work.
You're like, I have a shelf.
By the way,
now I have
literally though. Yeah.
By the way, happy years of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
nice today.
Next year we gotta really blow it out.
Mm.
So you're saying another event?
Yeah, another event. 20 years.
Well, at least you have a year till it's 20 years.
Yeah, it's funny because Scott Stuber, who who runs Netflix, who's my boss. He hired me to do Dawn of the Dead, so it's kind of cool that I was just texting with him. I texted him that thing.
Full circle.
I was like, happy anniversary. And he was like, how insane is it we're still doing this? I'm like, I don't know. When are they going to take the keys away? They got to hurry up.
Where did Dave go? He just ghosted.
He'll be back eventually.
He'll be back.
He's like, this is ridiculous. I don't even know what you people are talking about. Yeah, no, it's cool. I think it's an exciting, it's exciting. Look, and I love, Scott's a great collaborator, an amazing executive. He's amazing taste. He's just a great guy, and like really, courageous and smart, and that's what you want. It's like, by the way, he's like, oh, let's get this like commercial director punk to go make my Dawn of the Dead movie, and that worked out. And now he's like, hey, let's get that guy to do this giant weird sci-fi idea he has. So that's cool. So yeah, he's a good friend and a good guy.
Oh, just circling back to the screening event, someone asked a really good question. Will there be a way for people to submit questions for the panels?
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna. I think I don't know exactly where it's handling to, but yes, 100%. I want to have, like we did last time, we generated questions during the week beforehand on Vero, and I think on Twitter, I can't remember, but we definitely have to do that again.
Perfect. I have a question here. Is ZSJL live commentary sometime in the future possible?
Oh, yeah,
Would you tackle something like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. 4 hours of commentary. I love that. I just buckle in, just strap in and start rambling.
That guy, he's okay. Your live
DJ
commentary from BVS is a whole reaction gifs. Everyone has so many from that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That today, like to this day, that's like the.
That one was pretty iconic.
That was the coffee one. Wasn't there like a coffee one?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
All the
all right.
guys getting shot by the Batmobile. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine.
He's fine.
He's yeah, so we can look forward to that in the future then. That should be fun. I do have some more questions here. One that I like. What's your favorite Joseph Campbell quote?
I guess it's I guess all the heavens, I guess, is, that one's the one.
All the heavens, yeah.
Listen, guys, I gotta run. This has been amazing. We will do more of this. But yeah.
You got something coming?
What's
Somewhere
that?
where people can see you in the near future?
What do you mean?
Vero.
No, like if you have something coming up, if you're gonna be somewhere, to tell people.
And the screening?
Well, yeah, on the screenings, yeah.
Well,
But
And you can, we'll keep up with you on Vero and on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, of course. So sorry, I've got to look. Wait a minute. Is there like a?
It's okay.
Do we know something you don't?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, so yeah, so our main things are that we're going to look this coming Friday for the tickets to go on sale, possibly. I'll keep everyone up to date on Vero and Twitter, and I will. I'm excited to see everyone at the event, like in person, and like let's do this, and like let's talk.
The Justice League screening is going to be in color, right?
It will be in color, first time
So that'd
ever.
be the first ever.
And also,
yeah.
not only is it the first time in color, so no one's ever seen it in color on IMAX, but also the 3 movies together, that's never happened either. So it's kind of a first.
First, yeah.
I don't know when it's going to happen again. Yes.
Does it have an official name yet or not?
I mean, I don't know. I think we're just calling it Full Circle.
I mean-
so
Fair enough.
Full Snyder Con is what works too. I mean,
absolutely fine calling it Snyder Con too. Snyderverse celebration. Anything you want, that's all fine. But all right, you guys.
well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
to
much.
hang out.
Have a good one,
Oh
Zach.
my God. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure and honor to speak with you guys tonight, and more to come.
We'll be in touch.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, bye. See if I can't get out of this.
All right. So that was that. And Mary, Dave.
Now that guy's gone.
I was hoping you'd ask about that basketball, though.
Oh, I should have asked. I didn't even think about that. I should have
I
asked.
was waiting. I was like, he's here. He may have
Oh,
asked. Like,
I didn't even think about that.
We're sorry
anyway,
if
might
we
as
missed your questions, guys. Just so you know, everything's coming in really fast, and Soup, we've had our mods saying that there is no guarantee that we would be able to ask them or that we would. So, apologies, but thank you so much for participating in the conversation.
And once again, donation links in the description on a video. If you can afford it, please consider donating. It means a lot. We are on our way to 1 million, so we're almost there.
Oh, getting close.
So,
Jose, views dropping faster than my blood sugar. But we know you guys are just here for Zach. It's okay. We won't hold it against you.
Exactly. We know. We understand. But anyway, I hope that everybody has a good night. And thank you so much for coming, guys. We really appreciate it. It's been a bit of a comeback after so many months. So we're really glad that we could have it. We could share with you guys. So thank you so much for coming. And we will see you sometime soon for something hopefully exciting. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.